Hello there, Heather Mason 76 here. Just a quick update about my Let's Plays. I've been currently very busy with work, so I haven't had a chance to get to them, but they will be done here very shortly. Especially Klonoa. I want to get at least the ending. I want to get through the first game at least as soon as possible. So hopefully, if I can find a way to hook up my PS2, which I plan to do, which I plan to have a way to do that here in the next, hopefully, few weeks or even next week or so. I'll be able to post videos for the second Klonoa when I get a chance. Anyway, I have a review for you. Yay! I ended up going to a concert actually last night, which was November 27th, 2011. It depends on when you see this video. If it's in the future, then you will know. But what had happened was I couldn't buy tickets for this concert until the schedule was posted up because I work retail, so I can't. We weren't allowed to request off basically until basically after Christmas because of because of Black Friday and everything and all the way through. So after Thanksgiving, we really can't request off much at all. So I couldn't request off. Nobody could really request off for this weekend, which is literally the weekend of right after Thanksgiving because of shopping and whatever. So since I couldn't request off, I had to wait for the schedule to go up for that week to find out if I was able to go. So luckily, for my luck at least, I got off at 5 o'clock. The doors didn't open till 8. And luckily there were still tickets available. So when I got home, the first thing I did was buy tickets, or buy one ticket for myself. I didn't really have anybody to really go with me to the concert. But it was actually one of the best experiences I've ever had by going by myself. And I'll tell you who I went to go see. The tickets were for, at the 9:30 Club, was They Might Be Giants, and the opening act was Jonathan Coulton. Now, if anybody knows about Jonathan Coulton, he is amazing anyway, because he not only did he write the theme songs for both Portal games, but his music itself is really good. I mean, he writes such nerdy, good songs for everybody to really enjoy. And to be honest, I really loved his set, even though it was rather short, so I kind of want to complain, but then again, I don't, because he still got a couple of really good songs in. Like, he got a couple of the new ones in. For the most part, he played a lot of the really good old ones, like the ones that are like on his best of CD. Like, he did Shop Vac, he did Still Alive, which is really good, which I need to tell you a story about in the next minute. But his opening act was really good. Like I said, he was really limited because of the fact that he was opening for They Might Be Giants. And if anybody here knows, They Might Be Giants has been around for a long time, and they have a billion records. Now, for that one show, though, they did the entirety of the Lincoln album, which is pretty freaking cool. But they did 15 out of 18 songs. So, which kind of made me laugh because they said that they were going to do 15 of the 18 songs. The other 3 were dead to them. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was kind of funny. So, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, with Jonathan Coulton at least, I ended up making a GLaDOS head plushie. And what happened was, I decided, since I had already made one, that I was going to bring it with me, and possibly if I met Jonathan Coulton, I was going to give it to him. Because he's one of the really good artists that seriously is one of those nice guys. He's in the same group, nerd cluster, kind of like with Chris Hardwick and Paul and Storm and Mike Furman and all them. And that's why I really like him, because he's one of those type of people where, regardless of if he's like just popular with the nerd bunch, he knows who his fans are. So he knows he doesn't have to be afraid to give them a hug and to just sit around and shoot the shit with them for a while, which is really nice, because that's what he did after the show. Like, the people that actually stayed later, we all stood around and basically talked with him for about 20 minutes. He was really, really nice. But anyway, during his show, the third song he did was Still Alive. And what happened was, I took the plushie out and I was doing this, and the couple people that I had met, at the concert were pretty much like, yay, Portal, you know, whatever. And after the song, I had it outwards like this, and I was pretty much right at the stage. So he saw it and he was like, is that for me? And I was like, I have something for you. And he was just like, oh, thank you. And he was like, this is pretty cool. He was like, this is gonna be pretty weird to scare me in the middle of my middle when I wake up in the middle of the night. So he was just like, I will be resting comfortably and waking up and having nightmares because of this thing looking at me in the face. So I thought that was kind of cool. And he actually used Gladys's head. He like put it like in between his legs, like at his feet, and then tried to like kick, like basically use it as a hacky sack and try to hacky sacky it up. It was kind of funny. And then he used it for his little drum and bass machine he had for Mr. Fancy Pants. So I thought that was kind of cool. And then he walked off with it. And then later last night, I had talked to him and he thanked me for it. And I told him, I was like, well, I like making plushies, especially like for people like Chris Hardwick and everybody, because it's one of those things where it makes me feel better. They make me smile, you know, like their music, their comedy, you know, just them being the way that they are. They're awesome people and they make me happy, like with their music and everything. And I figure if I can make them smile even for 2 seconds by giving them something like that I made, win. You know what I mean? Win. Because it's you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you want to make them smile as much as they make you smile. And I really feel like that's what I kind of try to accomplish by giving these plushies to certain people. Like when I made the TARDIS plush for Chris Hardwick, when I made the little Gladys plush for Colton, when I made the Space Core for Nash, and the Wheatley Core for Rosenhacker. It's one of those things where I like helping to make them smile as much as they make me smile, you know? So I love doing that. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, so Jonathan Colton's set was rather short, but like I said, I'm not going to complain that much because apparently he does a lot of shows around DC sometimes, but I have to just catch them whenever I get a chance because I always end up missing them for some reason or I never hear about them. Anyway, They Might Be Giants, they did their entire Lincoln album. They also did a whole bunch of other ones that were like different songs. They did a couple from their Science album for kids that they did a couple years back. And then they also did just random ones off the top of my head. Now, to be honest, I actually originally bought tickets, of course, for Jonathan Colton. I hadn't heard a lot of songs from They Might Be Giants, but I have to admit, a lot of people were saying things outside like, oh, well, the Lincoln album is a little bit different and it's this and that. And, they didn't, but it's one of those things where I went in with virgin ears, which in a way is kind of cool because it's like, you've never really heard the album. And it's like, it's funny because I literally had a couple of people and I was just like, does anybody have these albums that maybe I could borrow or try to find, whatever. So of course somebody had files and so they sent me files. So I was listening to them, relatively for the last week, but I never got to the Lincoln album. I was listening to like Flood. It's funny because I went through most of Flood and it was just like, I've heard at least half of this album and I didn't even realize it was They Might Be Giants. I literally had a derp moment. I had no idea why, but it was just how it was. Anyway, so the Lincoln album I actually hadn't heard. So hearing the whole thing live for the first time really leaves an impression on you. And to be honest, I really do like that album. Like, I've actually been listening to it nonstop all day, besides the new CD from Jonathan Colton that I bought yesterday. And of course, the plus side of that is he also signed my CD. So that's kind of a plus too, which I'll have to show you. Right here. So, yay! Jonathan Colton signed my CD. Anyway, but yeah, so the concert was amazing. Anybody who is a nerd, a geek, anybody like that likes science, if you even just like Aperture, anything like that just has to do with science, even if you don't like science, if you're just a nerd and you know that you're a nerd for something, you should definitely go to one of these shows. Just because the way that they play, they have puppets and they play with puppets. And their puppets are hilarious. They did their own version of Paranoid by Black Sabbath. And it was amazeballs. It was a seriously amazeballs, like, with the puppets that they had, because they used a video camera, and you saw them behind, like, using the little camera, and they projected it on the screen that they had behind them for the, behind their instruments and stuff. And it was hilarious. It was really, really hilarious. It was great. So yeah, a lot of people were saying about puppets. And then funny fact, most of well, it's not really funny, it's kind of tragic, really, but a lot of their equipment that they had either was rented or rebought, because some of their material, luckily the puppets didn't have any damage to them, and neither did a couple other things, because one of the lead people, they have a bass oboe, or bass clarinet. No, it's a bass clarinet. I'm sorry. Derp moment. I'm probably going to get emails and hate mails about that, but it's a bass clarinet. Okay, I got it. Anyway, so it's bass clarinet, and he was laughing about how it has a smoky flavor to it, because apparently their van that had all their equipment caught fire, and most of their equipment got damaged or burned. So, like, I think the only thing that survived was, like, a little bit of the drums, maybe their bass drum, but I'm not sure. But it looked like it was, They Might Be Giants on the bass drum, so I don't know if maybe they had an extra spare, or if that was one from the fire or not. But they said a few things survived, including the puppets, at least, thank goodness, because the puppets obviously were crocheted by possibly somebody, I think, in London, from what they said. So because of that, it's kind of a good thing that, not everything was destroyed, so that was a plus. But yeah, they had to replace a lot of equipment, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, it was good to know that they didn't let that get to them, and they didn't, like, cancel the tour. But they were really nice enough, like, from what I heard, like, apparently they went to Connecticut or something right for DC, and what happened was they ended up renting or buying stuff right before the concert, so they had to get used to new everything again, just to auto-tune everything, including I'm not sure if the accordion got burned or not, but they might have had to get a new accordion as well, but I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely, if you are a nerd of any kind of genre, comedy nerd, music nerd, whatever nerd, gaming nerd, whatever, go to one of their shows. Their shows are so not only nerdy, but they pull in the right crowd. Like, you feel like you're really with the group of people that you want to be with. Like, everybody that I was in line with were sweet and funny and nerdy. Like, you could say something that Spock would say, and everybody would, like, say it. It was fantastic. In fact, I really urge people to go, especially if their friends don't go. Screw your friends. If they think that you're too much of a nerd, that they don't want to go with you, go by yourself, because I guarantee you will leave with a bunch of friends that you just met, and you'll be definitely happy. I met a couple people, and I have their phone numbers now, and they plan to go to KatsuCon as well. So I'm really excited to actually meet up with them again, because they sound like they're really cool people. So that is good. So plus and progress for making new friends. So anyway, yeah, but I will definitely get my Let's Plays done. The review, to be honest, for this concert, with the experience, with the people I met, the concert itself, with the energy, the songs, and hearing them for the first time and how good they were, regardless of how old that band is, I have to honestly give them an A+. Like, it's a must-go-to concert. So if there's any concerts that the Might Be Giants may be doing near you, especially if Jonathan Colton is opening, even if he isn't opening, I'm pretty sure that they'll find another really good artist to open with them. But if there is a concert near you with They Might Be Giants, you should definitely go. They are definitely worth at least seeing once, at least, because their shows are really good. Like I said, Let's Plays will be done here soon, hopefully. Work's been kind of killing me lately, but things will be done. I hope you guys have a good morning, night, evening, afternoon, whatever, whenever you're watching this. And if you see They Might Be Giants on tour, buy a ticket and let me know with a response video what you thought about it, or a comment below, or something else. But hope you guys have a good day, and let's get through Christmas.